I'm about to boldly go where I swore that I would never go again. But
I feel great.
I decided that it was all right because if I catch any flack for it, I can just say it's Gina Scarpa's fault.
No,
She
I'll take it.
took me there. She took me there to talk about the company whose words I can barely let leave my lips.
But here we are.
But here we are. We're going there.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about voices.com.
I'm excited. This is great.
And we're not even going to just sit here and bash them for an hour. Like,
No,
we're
we're actually going to talk about the positive sides.
The
Can you believe it?
merits of voices.com.
I know. What's going on?
This is it. This will probably be the last episode of the Everyday VOpreneur podcast.
This is the end of your career. You had a good run.
I'm pretty sure that I'll be canceled after this.
Well,
here I thought it would be like getting into political voiceover that would be the thing that would take me out.
No,
so that's
it's
why I
this.
never bothered to do that. But yep, this is going to be the thing that takes me down.
I'm here for your downfall. I'm so sorry.
Gina, you have a very unique distinction
Yeah.
of being the first time guest to be on twice in the same year.
Let's go. Wow. Wait, that's
this is like
pretty
Major
exciting.
League Baseball where I keep like the most random statistics.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Wait, that's actually really cool.
We
Yay.
just did, because we did an episode in January.
We did.
We were talking SEO. I feel like I could actually have you back again, because we could probably do a totally different episode to talk about this new, AEO or GEO, or, depending on which one you go with. Is it generative engine optimization or AI engine optimization or whatever? But that's another episode for another day.
I'll be back. You can't get rid of me.
But
so
today,
you're not canceled.
Today, well, I mean,
we'll see.
Here's open, right?
Fingers crossed.
So we got to talk about voices.com because you are quite optimistic about the platform, despite
the internet.
Despite the internet. And so
yeah,
I want to get to the good stuff, and we will get to the good stuff, but I feel like we need to address some of the more controversial stuff right out of the gate. And if we can get past that controversial stuff. So let's start with the managed or professional services projects. I'm not sure specifically how they referred to them now. It was one or both. And why are those so controversial, and why do they get people really upset?
Okay. So they're controversial because there's a narrative online, and I'm not saying it's not true, but there's a narrative online that they take way more off the top, and they're not totally transparent about jobs. Now, I'm just going to speak from my own personal experience.
Okay.
I have only ever heard of a handful of egregious things that have happened, and I don't know where the disconnect comes from. Like, could it be on the Voices side? Sure. Could it be on the client side? Because if they don't go through an agent, the agent doesn't push back and say, hey, this usage, this rate isn't it. And they know that they can maybe get away with it somewhere else. I don't really know, but I have done over 10,000 auditions on the platform over the years. Okay. I have coached hundreds of people, and I have not run into too many instances of it. And my personal experience with them has been positive, but I hear what people are saying. And I know you've heard,
well, that's what ultimately got me kicked off the platform a bunch of years ago. And granted, this is going back a while now, so maybe things have changed, but I caught them. The worst example was I caught them red-handed taking a 92.5% commission. And we figured it out because the identical job, literally the identical posting, went on 123 and voices.com. And the budget there was a 92.5% discrepancy in the budget. And the client was hidden on both platforms, but I was able to figure out who the client was. I did some super deep dive research.
You went on an investigation hunt.
And I did. And I figured out who the client was, and I sent them a message and I said, look, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but if I was in your shoes, I would want to be aware of this. They had no idea that voices.com took a commission. It was never expressed to them that voices.com took a commission. And they were actually really angry because the reason why they had posted the budget, this was for a commercial, and the reason why they posted the budget that they had posted was because they wanted a talent at that level. And by posting, if they post it for 500, there's a percentage of talent that are like commercial 500, this usage. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Right.
Versus if it was, 5,000, then everybody's like, yeah, we're going to go there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the worst example, but I did catch several other examples where the commissions were in the 70 and 80% range. And again, it was because at the time the jobs were being posted on both platforms. And so it was
Right.
really easy to see the discrepancies
Mm-hmm.
going on there. And so when we tried to get a straight answer from voices.com, well, we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't. I just got kicked off the platform, and then there was never a straight answer given. And so
Mm-hmm.
at VO Atlanta, when I had tried to address this when the new CEO came,
Mm-hmm.
we still didn't get a straight answer. So maybe the commissions aren't as bad now. I don't know.
I do think they've made a lot of positive changes. I think that they've done a better job of listening to the community. There's things that they've done that I've really appreciated, and I feel like what they've it's hard for them to live down things that have happened in the past.
Yes,
And the people who are there now, it's like I wasn't the CEO
I
then, or
wasn't the guy. Yeah.
I wasn't even in this department, and
Yep.
they're kind of trying to, dispel that narrative. And so it's hard. I can imagine it's a tough position for them, but it's also hard for the voice actors who feel burned in the past. But I
Sure.
think that there is a path forward for people who have kind of dismissed them, and I have felt a lot of positive changes, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I feel like they've been a really good partner to me. So I really do hear what is happening on both sides for sure.
Well, and the reason why I want to have this conversation is because I know other
Mhm.
voice actors who are doing incredibly well on the platform.
Mhm.
And I also know that some of those voice actors are afraid to even admit that they are on the platform because the
Mhm.
platform gets such a bad rep, right?
Sure. Mhm.
And I really hoped that when the new CEO came to VO Atlanta, that that was going to be the shift.
Mhm.
But I just felt like he dodged all the questions to
Mhm.
the point where he didn't get invited back again because he didn't satisfy what the community was looking for as far as transparency. And I also understand, and I've said this before, with all these casting sites, as frustrating as any of them can be,
Mhm.
you have to understand that they are actually serving two masters.
Of
You have to
course.
build a site for talent, and talent are paying to be on the site. So we feel like we're owed a certain amount from the management and a certain
Mhm.
amount of input and whatever.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if you don't build a platform that lends itself to buyers, there's nothing for the talent.
Correct.
And so it's not easy
Yes.
balancing both sides, right?
No, I imagine
If
it's a
we
really
got
tough
everything
position.
that we wanted,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a user-friendly experience necessarily on the client side, especially for clients who are outside of the industry,
Mhm.
maybe don't understand all of the different aspects. And so I get, that you're trying to walk that line. So the idea behind the managed services projects is that voices.com comes in, they kind of take the reins to make it easier for the client. It's whatever, an a la carte service, or, client just gives them the
Mhm.
project and says, go for it.
Yes.
Voices.com goes out, finds the people, whatever. But that was one of the big concerns in the past, was that there wasn't, regardless of whether it was a 20% commission or a 90% commission, there
Mhm.
didn't really seem to be a lot of transparency on either the client side or the talent side of what that commission was.
Mhm.
There didn't really seem to be a rhyme or reason, right? Like if it was just a straight 20% across the board,
Mhm.
that would be totally different. The only answer that I ever got at the time that I was investigating it was that voices.com was going off of their rate card. Well, their rate card was like the worst rate card in the industry at the time. And so a client comes and says, here's 5,000 for this project, but voices.com's rate card says that's a $250 project. Well, then they would post it for 250, keep the difference, not tell anybody.
Right.
And their argument was, well, talent can bid whatever they want.
True.
Well, what talent is going to see a project posted for $250 and say, I'm bidding $5,000 for this?
I mean, some people do. Some people do. They see. I mean, not just on the managed side, but just they see a project that's
In general.
$999, and they feel like it should be 2,500, and they bid the 2,500. And I have cast projects on there myself,
Yeah.
so that I could see it from the client side. And also, I just the point that you were making about it's hard to balance making buyers happy and making the
Yep.
talent happy. Just as someone who also does, casting and projects, I can think of one client in particular. We produce over 100 spots a year for them across a multitude of talent. And, we're always trying to balance, like, what is their budget? What is the usage? What's fair to the talent? But it's not easy. And so,
Yep.
and that's just me at Positive Voices Studio doing, however many
Mhm.
projects a year. Voices is, thousands and thousands and thousands of projects. You're trying to keep
Yep.
everybody happy. And, I imagine it's not an easy position to be in. I guess my take right now is that, for people who have been very closed off about it, that's like to have an open mind that things can improve, that things can be different. And it's not that everything is perfect, but
Yep.
you can also pick and choose what you want to audition for. You can negotiate way more than you think you can. I just did a very big negotiation on a project for something that I really wanted to do, but I just couldn't agree to the terms, but it ended up working out in my favor. I think people feel like they don't have control over things on Voices, and I actually think that's very far from the truth, and that's a
Yeah.
lot of what I coach on and what I'm now building a course around, which I'm super excited about.
I think that's a fair statement, I've heard that from several other voice actors who were on the platform in the past, that the budget isn't always the budget, particularly on the managed services projects. Yes, sometimes the budget is the budget, but sometimes the budget isn't the budget. And so if you come back and say, look, I'm interested, but we need to get to here, that's no different than negotiating with a client who comes to you directly through your
Correct.
website. And so there is a responsibility on the talent side
Mhm.
to be willing to stand up and say, hey, now look, if they don't accept it, they don't accept it. That could happen on voices.com just as easily as it could happen on
Mhm.
a project that walks through your website. I mean,
Mhm.
we've all been there and done that.
Mhm.
But I think that is an important thing to point out, that yeah, there is an opportunity for negotiation. And I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's trying to get it for the cheapest rate, right? And so it doesn't surprise me that nobody's throwing out the top number first.
Yeah,
Not
I
in
mean, but
voiceover or any business.
I also don't want, I mean, again, I'm not trying to sit here and be like, everything everything that you think about it is wrong, but I also feel like, maybe have a reputation like the rates are super low, but I have done countless projects that are at or
Yep.
above GVAA. Like,
Yep.
I don't feel like I'm, like bargain shopping over here. And so I mean, some of the rates I'm like, really? I mean, just an example, like I did a 2-minute internal video. If someone had come into my inbox and said, well, what would you charge? It's like, I don't know, $300-$400 internal 2-minute non-broadcast. The budget was 1,000. Like, what are we talking? I'm sometimes like, what are we talking
Yep.
about? Like, there's a
Yep.
lot of good things on there. And so I talk to so many people that are like, I've heard this or that, or I got off the platform or I just feel like I can't win on there. And so maybe I'm just, overly optimistic, but I'm like, there's actually a lot of things you could do that would make it a much more enjoyable experience and put you in a position of power instead of like, I don't know what, just waiting for something to happen to you. Yeah, that's just me. Maybe maybe I'm the
No,
weirdo.
I think that's totally legitimate, that we do have to maybe have a little bit more of an open mind, that there
Am I
is a lot of
turning your
stuff.
cold heart warmer on this?
Well, I
Well,
mean, I'm pretty sure my picture hangs on the wall in that place with
they're
a
like,
on a
this
with a
guy. That's
dartboard,
probably not true.
but
That.
no, but you know what? The low budgets, that's not exclusive to voices.com.
Thank you.
That
Because
is not
that is
exclusive to
true.
voices.com. You will see really awesome projects on Voice 123, and you will see total crap projects on
Correct.
Voice 123.
And you will see
You
the
can
same
see
thing in your
really awesome
inbox.
projects on voices.com.
Thank
You
you.
will see total crap projects on Voices. That's just across the board in the industry. I mean, the
Yeah.
only site that maybe you're not seeing that is Bidalgo, but
But
that's
that's because
because Armin
vets
is
every single
actively
one.
managing,
Yeah.
but he's also not actively managing the volume of projects that are being managed
Correct.
on voices.com either. But yeah, that is not the budget thing is not exclusive to voices.com.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, one of the things that I'm trying to do better is have my opinion. Like, I'm willing to hear anything anybody has to say,
Sure.
but I feel like in the earlier part of the professional part of my career, like I was intimidated by Facebook and LinkedIn
Hmm.
opinions. And
Hmm.
it was hard to be like, the different voice saying like, it's not, I don't know if it's everything we're saying it is right now, or, maybe there's a positive story here. But I just kind of decided in the last few years, like, I'm just going to give my opinion, and it's okay if we disagree. It's kind of similar to how I first started in voiceover, which was on Fiverr for 5 years, and everybody always taking a big dump on it. And now I'm just like, that's how I started. I'm not going to apologize for it. It was a really good experience for me personally. I don't use the platform anymore, but I have nothing really bad to say about it. And that's it. That's the real deal. So I try to keep it real if I can. It's hard though when people are
when
like,
everybody's crapping on it.
when people are crapping on it. But I've been trying to
And
be better even on Facebook about it, commenting nicely. But
even I have
debating.
said, and I know that this particular thing that I say always gets overlooked because controversy is more sexy and fun. But
yeah, it's fun to be mad.
I have said for years, at the end of the day, we have to accept that there are just buyers looking to hire voice actors. And they don't have a sweet clue about the entire history of voices.com. They couldn't care less because it has no bearing on their life whatsoever. They don't know about big commissions or triple dipping or whatever, like
rates, none of
it. Whether it's ethical or unethical, or like, they don't have a clue. They just need a voice for their project.
Yep.
And
they're not reading the GVAA rate guide. Yeah, they don't know.
They found they did a Google search and they found voices.com and they posted the job.
Yeah.
And those people, why don't they deserve to have great voice actors narrating their projects? Of course they do. And so there's that side of it as well. It's maybe you don't condone past behavior of the platform, or maybe current behavior if there's still something going on. And I don't know. That's why I have these conversations to ask these questions. But at the same time, it is a place where there are completely innocent buyers.
Oh my gosh.
Who are just looking to find great voice actors.
Like, I feel like it's almost everybody, I mean, every now and then there's some kind of scammy thing, but it's off the platform so fast. And the community on Voices is really great. I mean, the other voice actors, about reporting things that stand out as being egregious. And it gets taken down immediately. Like, someone tries to message you and be like, hey, your voice sounds great. Here's my email. It's blah, blah, blah at hotmail.com. Like, it's gone before you can even get to the message. They're very on top of that. So again, like, I hear what you and other people have said, but I feel I like the idea of, can people change and evolve? Can they learn from past mistakes? Can we go in with an open mind, and things like that? It's like, you don't have to use the platform, but, maybe there's a new story to be told here. And hopefully, like, I can just help ease some of the concerns and the worries while still listening to, what everyone has to say.
I don't know if we're going to get to tell a new story here.
Maybe not, but I can tell you some things that I think would make you feel better.
But there's one more thing I want to get to that was always a real pain point.
Yeah.
The triple dipping.
Okay.
Is the triple dipping still happening? So you paid your admission to enter the arena by paying your membership.
Okay, I paid my membership, sure.
And then there were commissions on all these projects, which were often hidden, and we didn't know what those commissions were, but they were being taken.
Okay.
And then you're paying, I had heard 20%. That it was up to 20% on the escrow.
Yeah.
So it felt like a triple dip.
Well, I don't know. Here's what I know. I know I paid my membership, and I know the fees, the 20% fee when I'm booking the job. So that's what is put out there.
Can you bypass that? Do you have to go through SurePay or whatever their system is called now? Like, can you get paid off platform, or is it still fully closed?
Everything is contained within the platform. And so, like, the messaging that you do and the payments that you do. And so one reason for that is given is that then they can intervene when something doesn't go well. If something doesn't go right, they have all of the messages. They know what the payment was supposed to be, the agreement. If you, I mean, I don't know. I don't know with Voice 1, 2,
That
3,
sounds so wonderful and
no, I
altruistic,
know.
but at
Like,
the end of the
listen,
day, we know that it's just about them getting
I
their
don't work for them.
20%.
I don't work for them. I'm just telling you one of the reasons that they give. But
No,
what like
it does make sense, though. It does make
well, it's
sense.
like, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna say take it off platform, right? Like Voice 1, 2, 3, and that's fine. That's what a lot of people like about Voice 1, 2, 3 is that they can
Yeah.
work directly. And that's one of the things I like about the platform. I've had many clients turn over into repeat direct clients, and they're great. But it's like if you take it off platform, we're not doing messages there, we're not doing payment through them, and now we're like, hey, can you intervene? It's like I'm not there for this conversation. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened. So
Yep.
I'm not saying that everything is like, the most honorable, like, yeah, they're but that is one of the reasons why. And so my understanding, as a user of the site is I paid my money to be on the site. I pay my fees to book the job. I know what those fees are. And I don't, to the best of my knowledge, there's not some third thing going on, but I don't, if there is, I don't know about it. So I don't think like that, that's the rumor or the stories of old. I don't know, but that's my experience is that I know what I'm paying.
Do you feel like you're on the hot seat right now,
Yeah,
Gina?
what is this?
I'm just asking questions.
I should have known better.
I am literally Switzerland in this argument, and I know that nobody actually
I'm
believes that,
sweating.
but I am actually Switzerland in this argument because I have no skin in the game, right? Like,
Yeah, no.
I'm not on the platform. I haven't been on the platform in a really long time. Obviously, I had issues with the platform in the past, and that was why I ended up off the platform. But I've been in the industry long enough to know that, like, look, Voice 123 is not the same site that it was when I originally signed up for it.
Right, of course, yeah.
Like things change, the seasons change, and so I want to have I want to be open-minded enough to have those conversations. But I mean, I have to ask some of the hard questions that the community is, obviously it's the things that they've been upset
No,
about,
listen,
and they've been upset about them understandably so in the past. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way that things work now. And so
correct. I should have known.
it's nice to talk to somebody who's on the other side who,
I'm having a
I mean,
positive experience, not
you're
that's
doing, yeah, and that's why I want to talk to you
and I
because you
think that's
are
helpful
doing
to
amazing
hear,
things on that. Like I looked at your profile. It says you're a top talent. You've got a 5-star rating, the hundreds of 197 projects or something that said like I don't know, that's why I want to talk to you because your experience has obviously been different than the experience of a lot of other people.
Mhm.
So
I
one of
think
the
so.
things that I've recently learned is that voices.com has an algorithm,
Yes.
not like the 123 algorithm. Is 123 still call it Smartcast or have they moved
I
past
don't know.
that? I don't
I
even know.
haven't heard it called that like lately, so I'm not sure. But
But there
Voice's
is
algorithm is voice match. That's their
so
algorithm name.
I mean, voices.com has always had that. The voice match has always been there where, you put up your demos, you put
Mhm.
up, I'm this type of voice, I'm this age range, I'm these genres,
Yes.
whatever. And then it would choose which auditions you saw based on how your profile matched the specs that the clients put in. That's
Correct.
always been there. But my
Yes.
understanding is that the algorithm has gotten more advanced over time because it used to just
Yes.
be that you got access to all the projects you picked and like I would see voice match 100%, but I would also see voice match 70%
Mhm.
back in the day.
Mhm.
How has that algorithm evolved? What is it? Can you explain it a
I'm
little
gonna
bit
try.
more of how it works
Yeah.
today? I know you're not like, I mean, I don't think you're secretly on. Are you a spy for
No,
voices.com?
but I think
Okay.
people think I am. I get nothing from this. But no. Okay, so the algorithm it it works in a series of ways, but the first way is having your profile completely filled out like with all of the genres you want to
Yeah.
do, the age ranges, your gender, your languages, accents and all of that stuff.
Okay.
And then the next piece is putting up many demos and clips because a big mistake people make is they slap up 2 or 3 demos and then kind of sit back and relax and say, "Hey, how come I'm not getting a lot of auditions or how come I'm 60% job match?" But that's because for every genre you put up, in every age range you put up, you need at least 1 clip. So if you put up 10 genres and 2 age ranges, you need 20 clips, and people get intimidated, but I'm like, that's the goal,
Yeah.
that's where we want to
Yep.
be because you want to match for everything. Okay. Then once you've optimized your profile, now over time, this algorithm has now started to look at merit-based. So when you get an audition, are you engaging with the platform? Are you getting shortlisted, and are you booking? Now, to the best of my understanding, and this is just, don't take this as the Bible, but if you don't get shortlisted a lot on Voice 123, you're going to drop in the rankings and you're going to be in the bottom 10%. You are punished.
Yes.
Punished. Okay.
Yes.
To the best of my knowledge, just from all the experience of working on my own profile and everyone else's, you're not punished, but you're never going to move up. So you're going to have 5 to 7 auditions a day, and that's how it's going to be. Or as you grow over time and you're succeeding, you become a top talent. You have 100 auditions a day to choose from. Everything is 100%. And now the world is your oyster and you can choose what you want to do. You're not relegated to just 5 auditions. You're like, well, I mean, like, I guess I'll do these because I paid my money. So it's taking 2 things into consideration: your ability to optimize and show what you can do, and then back it up in the audition. And I feel like, to me, I like that. I think that's great. It shouldn't just be that you could slap in some keywords. You know, you should be good at what you do. You should be able to back it up. But that's really how the algorithm works. So just to put it simply, it gets an audition. It's like, okay, I have a corporate narration audition, or video narration, they call it there. Does Gina have a clip in it? Yes. Okay, then I'll start to move the needle towards sending it to her. Then when she gets video narration auditions, does she tend to do them? Is she interested? Yes. And then finally, does she shortlist? Does she book? And really what the algorithm is trying to calculate is, what are the chances that you're going to book this job? Because if the chances are that you're going to book it, if it's high, that's great for the buyer because it's giving them exactly who's strong in this genre, who's optimized for it, and who does well. So everybody wins. And I spoke to someone at Voices not that long ago, and they said that clients are staying on the platform more than ever. Like, their completed rate is very high, more than in the past, where people would abandon, maybe go somewhere else, or say, forget it, never mind. But the algorithm seems to be working on both sides. So that's, in a nutshell, what it does.
So in some senses, it's actually similar to how Voice 123 works. It's, post your clips, get your keywords, get matched, audition for the stuff that fits.
Yeah.
With the prime difference being
so similar.
The prime difference being on 123, that if you audition too much, or if you don't get those shortlists, you end up in the basement, and it's
then you
really
feel bad.
hard. Really, well, it's also really hard to get out. My understanding is
hard.
It's really hard to get out, and so that makes people want to be much more strategic. Okay,
I am very careful on Voice 123 about what I audition for. I am at the $2,200 level, full discretion, and I'm very picky. I'm like, oh my God, if I don't get a like, because I'm gonna drop. And I usually go back and forth between top 10, top 20%. One time I went to top 30 and I want to like cry on the floor, which I know isn't a big deal, but it just feels bad. It's like, I feel like I'm always taking a gamble. So my strategy on Voice 123 is I audition just for what I'm right for. And every now and then something that kind of sticks out at me, I'm like, ooh, let me take the chance. And then when I don't get the like, I'm like, see, I knew it. I should have just stayed in my lane.
Is that the primary difference then between 123 and Voices.com? With Voices.com, you're not, you literally could audition for everything.
You can. Yeah.
You shouldn't, but you could.
Shouldn't, but you should audition for what you're right and good for. And I think that's a new message that they've been putting right at the bottom of their page, is when you're applying to a job, it says increase your chances of getting hired by ensuring your file is accurate to the client's job requirements. So it's trying to encourage people gently to audition for things that they're really right for. But I would say on there, I'm good for at least 10 auditions a day, every day on there, if not closer to 20, depending on, what else is going on. And on Voice 123, I might do 1 to 3,
So you mentioned earlier, you said, oh, I could do 100 auditions a day on that site. Are you actually seeing 100 auditions a day on that site?
Yeah, I'll look right now. Hold on.
Number?
See, well, I'm not.
So you're
I'm not
actually
I'm not
getting
BSing you.
100 auditions a day on Voices.com.
Now, I have 131 jobs sitting there.
131 auditions.
Yeah.
Now,
and by the way, if I had the time, if I was like, I have the time, I would, there's not a lot of that 130 that I'd be like, no way. I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. It's not like I'm digging through the garbage to be like, hey, here's one that's good. They're viable. They're good.
So there's 131 auditions sitting there. And in theory, again, if you had the time, You could audition for all 131 of those, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't have a negative bearing.
To the best of my
To the
knowledge,
best
I
of your
just
knowledge, it
wouldn't
would
grow.
not
I
have the
would not
negative
grow
bearing.
from there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not going backwards. I'm just so what most people that I coach, and they're great. They come, from being coached by, whatever, J. Michael Collins and getting demos with him, or Brad Highland, or whoever. Like, they're not just like, they're people that know what they're doing. And the issue that they're having is that they're only sitting at, again, 5 to 7 to 10 auditions a day, and they can't really move up. And after we make the changes that that we walk through, suddenly they're like, wait a minute, I'm now getting 15 to 20 auditions a day. I'm getting shortlisted. I'm booking. I'm a rising star. Like, things are changing. And there's a lot of things you can do on the platform that have an immediate, and I literally mean an immediate, impact on how well you're doing. And people just either don't know or refuse to take the time. So I'm usually like, unless you're 100% voice match for every job, I actually refuse to hear any of your complaints. And then I will listen to you once you've done that and you're still struggling, because then, there's things that we could try to work on from there. But if you're not 100%, I don't want to hear it.
You said you're at 2,200 on 123.
Yeah.
So that's the second highest tier, right?
Yeah.
The only
because I've been on the other wait list for 4 years.
Yeah.
Like,
apparently, my understanding is
out.
that you literally almost have to wait for somebody to like die to get on that.
They have this thing where if you're in the top 10 of the wait list, they can pull from anybody. And I guess it's not my time. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I asked, they're probably so sick of me. I'm always like, can I please be on the $5,000 tier?
But still,
can you take my money? They're like, no.
So you're at the $2,200 tier on
Voice 123.
Voice 123.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately how many auditions a day are you seeing on that site?
Hard to say. Like, I'm trying to look right now. Like, right now on there as I'm looking, 30.
So 30. Okay. So there's a significant difference. And I mean, obviously it can vary from day to day or whatever, but even at that $2,200 tier, you're still not seeing. And if you've got 30, realistically, you probably shouldn't be auditioning for any more than 3 to 5 of those.
Yeah.
Unless you like absolutely think you can nail it.
Unless you think you can nail it. And also, let me clarify, like, there's 130 auditions on Voices. I'm not saying like all of those could probably or didn't come all in today, right? Because some of them are here, but they're on for, a couple of days or whatever. But it's like at any given time. And I mean Christmas Day, there's 75 auditions, there's never a time where I'm like, boy, it's really scarce today.
How much are you paying on Voices?
500 a year.
500 a year on voices.com. So they only have one tier now.
Yes.
So,
and that was done away with.
Does anybody get access? If I went and signed up today,
yep,
I'm going to get access to all those auditions?
No.
Or so you have access to those, to more auditions because of the number of jobs that you've booked, the number of shortlists that you've got, and you're considered a top talent.
Yeah. And I used to be a platinum member, right? I used to pay the full amount, and you would get access to other things. You would get things faster, but they did away with that a few years ago. They refunded everybody. And I'm I can't remember exactly what happened, but I'm almost positive they refunded everyone, and they gave us a regular membership free for the year or something, all of the platinum members. And then that's when the algorithm started to change and become more merit-based. So like nobody can go on Voices right now and be like, hey, I'll pay you 10 times what someone else is paying. And I would like all of the auditions. Like, you're not getting there. And I actually just talked to a very successful voice actor who was thinking about jumping onto Voices. And they were like, but see, I don't want to start from the bottom. They're going to think I'm new. And I said, no, but there's things you can do that will move. I know this. I've have this conversation 755 times with people. Like, there's things that you can do that would start to move the needle forward and the engine going a lot faster.
The thing that, and look, I've always said this about voices.com. And again, I know everybody has their opinions of voices.com are as cemented in their heads as their opinions of my opinions of voices.com. And so they overlook some of the other things that I've said. But I have always thought that voices.com, regardless of all the other stuff, gave the most level playing field.
It's true. I
hate the tiered membership. I hate the tiered membership. Now, I'm sure if I was a platinum talent, I would probably feel differently about it, but I hate the tiered membership. I hate the fact that I can give you $500 a year and you openly admit to me that I'm only going to see 50% of the auditions and I'm going to get them after everybody else. That data is right on Voice 123's site. It's included in the buy now box. It literally tells you you're going to get this percentage of auditions. You're going to get them after all of these other tiers. And there's this many people that are signed on at that level. So there is transparency. I'll give them credit for the transparency. But at the same time, it's like, okay, so literally I'm paying $500 a year. And I know right out of the gate, I'm going to get half the auditions that are available. And I'm going to see them after everybody else.
Yeah, and you can have it after everyone else read. You can have it after the $5,000 people read, who are all like, I mean, if you scroll through those, platinum members,
the
like,
A-lists, right?
It's just like A-list people, right? And then you could go through the 2200s, and then the 800s, and then the 600s, and then you can audition. There's only one problem. The audition wanted 25 people, and 72 have read. So it's like, that has always bothered me about the platform.
So on voices.com, it's a much more level playing field. Now, I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong or if you know the answer to this, but I'm guessing if you're a top talent, you're probably seeing stuff a little earlier. Or does everybody just get it all at the exact same time?
I don't think so. I don't know that it's earlier. I just think you get more. Like, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think so, because I have conversations with people, whether my coaching group or people I'm, just coaching one-on-one, and they're like, oh, I got this audition. I look, it's like, yeah, I just got it too. Like, I don't think there's that much of a difference. I don't think there's any difference, honestly. I could be wrong, but
it really is a level playing field.
Wow, look at the thoughts.
There's a part of me that wants to try to sign up just to see whether or not I can sign
they're
up.
Like, get out of here. I mean,
like
I feel like you could have this conversation.
Put, banned on a blacklisted server somewhere or something like that. But
no.
Okay. The other question, and I know this is what you're dying to get to. Voice 123, as I now understand it, had a great conversation with Nikki Schwartz about this.
Yeah.
Voice 123 is really two distinct systems. There is there's the casting system where they send out auditions, you receive the auditions, you go and you audition.
Yes.
But I'm hearing more and more people say that up to 50% of the bookings on that site are happening directly. They're happening via search.
Through search, yeah.
I come on the site. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I search for a few profiles. I find the profiles. I direct invite people. There's never a casting posted for it. And so for voice actors who are crying that they're not getting the access to opportunities on Voice 123, part of it might be that your profile is not optimized. You are not. You're missing out on 50% of the auditions because you're not set up for search.
Yes.
Voices.com now works the same.
Yes. That's really the biggest opportunity on Voices to me with people is search, because what a lot of people do is they do the keywords. So they're doing well in terms of the job match, but they're counting out search. And I get private invited every day or every other day, but very consistently, and not just by the Voices professional team, but by random clients who I've never heard before. I just got one yesterday for the like a female sports announcer voice that they heard my clip and invited me. I've had someone recently just offer me a role in a video game just off of hearing my Warframe clip and saying, we have a role for you. And I think that that's the thing that I don't think people even think is happening, but it is. Search is so important. I was just yelling at someone yesterday because this guy he's a great guy that I coach, and he's from Long Island, and he's like a real New Yorker type. And I said to him, why when I search New York accent are you not on the first page? I mean, what are we doing? Why am I the first person that's coming up? I'm in Connecticut. Like, why is my New York clip coming up before you? He was like, I have no idea. But yeah,
I'll tell you why. Because search is hard.
Search is very hard.
And most of us are lazy.
Search is hard, and people don't want to take the time to put up 85 clips and write descriptions for all of them, And I get that. But a lot of success in this industry, and I think, you or J. Michael or whoever would agree, it's being willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do. That's why you say do the thing. Because you could tell them till you're blue in the face to send the emails, but you know that most people aren't sending the emails.
No, most people don't do it.
No, they want to complain about how things aren't going their way. And I'm like, well, what'd you do today that was actionable? And the answer is nothing.
Full disclosure.
Yeah.
I'm working with Brad Hyland. Coaching with Brad Hyland. Brad literally twisted my arm off virtually through Zoom and made me sign up for Voice 123.
Wow.
Like literally physically made, like I was afraid if I didn't.
He said, log in right now.
If I didn't do it, I was worried that there would be physical consequences when I run into him at Mavo here in a week. I had not logged into Voice 123 in a decade. I had demos older than my kids. So one of the things that I've been working at is going through the process of taking down all of my old clips. I took everything off and I've been putting up the new stuff. It freaking sucks. I hate it.
It's
It makes me
very
so
tedious.
angry. I hate it so much. And so on that side,
Yeah.
I understand
For sure.
why people don't want to do it because it sucks. But I also understand that that's why somebody like Nikki Schwartz has a business model, because there is a
She's
part
great,
of
by
me
the
that is
way.
looking at her and saying, I want to give you all my money. Just
Mhm.
do this for me.
Mhm.
You do the equivalent.
Mhm.
You offer the equivalent on the voices.com side because this stuff matters.
It
So
really matters.
now that we have spent 40 minutes just making you feel bad and, you know, making you feel like you're part of the criminal
And I
enterprise
tried
of
to handle it as
voices.com.
best as possible. I hope the voiceover community is like, you know, Gina, good job.
Now that we've got past that part, let's
Yeah.
get to the good stuff. Right?
Okay.
Let's
Wow,
get to the
I made
happy.
it.
We're ready to talk about the happy stuff now.
Okay, I'm
You
excited.
have said
Yeah.
several times in this interview
Yeah.
that there are things that you could do immediately. Like
Yep.
right now, go to your voices.com profile, boom, it changes
Correct.
things.
Mhm.
Talk to me about one or two of those things.
Okay, I'll give you an example. So what most people do is they pay their $500, they slap up some demos, and then they sit back and wait for things to happen to them and then are dissatisfied with the results of this endeavor. But I'll give you an example. Let's say you have an audition that comes in and it's 90% and you're like, why? You know, it's a video narration. It's, you know, it's my age range. It's,
Yep.
you know, what's going on here? Well, the reason why you're 90% is because you're missing something on the optimization side of the clips that you have up. Maybe you don't have the word conversational in there. Maybe you didn't choose the word corporate. So you can't affect what has already come in. That job that's 90%, it's 90% and you're not changing that. But if you look and you say, you know what, I don't have a clip that's marked corporate and professional. You're right. I should add that or I should edit that. The very next time an audition comes in with those keywords, you're going to match for it and you're going to be 100%. Or you could also say, hey, like, I have a new clip. Let me put it up. You know, I did this job, or I've split my demo up 6 ways or whatever. That is going to show up in search immediately. I did one for a company that works in crypto. It was like a Bitcoin explainer. I put it up, and just to check, I mean, 5 minutes later, I searched it and it was the first clip that came up. So optimization on voices has immediate impacts. If we're talking about your website, you're playing more the long game, but I love that there's things that I can do that actually affect what's happening. I don't feel like it's out of my control.
Talk to me about so you say, you know, you match 90%.
Yep.
Does it ultimately matter? Like you
Yes.
got the audition, so if you have the ability to submit for the audition, does it make a difference if you are a
Yes.
90% match? How does that work?
Okay, some people will say to me, like, I'm not 100%, but I'm 90%, and that's pretty good. I'm 80%. That's, you know, like, I only do things that are 80% and up. And I'm like, again, if you're not 100% across the board, like, we're working at a disadvantage because by default, Voices sorts everyone's auditions by best match, meaning 100%, 90%,
So
80%.
you're talking on the back end,
On the
what
back
the
end, on the
buyer
client side,
sees
yes,
is
but
the
it doesn't
auditions.
tell them. Let's say
Okay.
I'm 90, I'm 100, you're 90, or whatever, vice versa. It's not going to tell them that. Just like in Google search results, one thing that Google had found was as people were clicking to page 2 and 3, the drop-off rate was huge. People were just not they were thinking, oh, this can't be relevant. That's not true. There's billions of search results. Of course, there's going to be things on page 2, number 11 in the search that's relevant. So instead, they were doing endless scrolling and it wasn't telling you where page 2 was. And the same is true here. It doesn't say, oh, she's 90, he's 100, she's 80, he's 70, but it sorts you by that. Now you can also sort it by newest. So if I'm casting on a rolling basis and I go get lunch and come back, I could see who else has come in. I could sort it by rating, by price, by name. But I would say that typically they're looking definitely always best match. Newest if we're casting on a rolling basis, and rating if you want someone who's experienced. According to the platform, I should say.
You go out, you're convinced the voices.com is the level playing field, and I'm ready to forgive them, and I'm ready to move on. Gina convinced me.
Wow.
She's going to get an ambassadorship with voices.com.
I hope they're
She'll have
happy.
an honorary invitation to London, Ontario.
I'm going to Canada.
You have your commercial demo, your corporate demo, your explainer demo, your e-learning demo, whatever. You've got 5 great demos. JMC, whatever, produced, right? Amazing. If you just go on to voices.com and upload those 5 full-length demos,
I'm already rolling my eyes. I'm like, don't you
you're
dare.
doing it wrong. You're doing it,
You
which
better
is what
split
everybody
that
does.
into the 30 clips that it is, because each of those demos is 6 clips, and that's 30 right off the bat. So there's no reason, and that goes for Voice 123 as well. I have a playlist that is just if we're talking about Voice 123, I have a playlist that's just my demos, and then I have individual playlists based on the genre. On voices.com, I go all demos first, followed by clip, probably, like, again, 80 clips, 90 clips.
I was going to ask, how many clips do you have?
So
Because
many.
I was looking.
I mean, I should have more,
and
but
speaking of endless scroll, I was looking at your profile on voices.com and I was like, oh my gosh.
I want to be 100% for everything.
This is literally every project that she's ever voiced in her entire career. I'll tell you what, she's turned it into a clip.
If I'm not 100% for something, I will get to the bottom of it, and I will make sure that the next time that doesn't happen. So I feel like it's put me in a really advantageous position. It increases the amount that I'm listened to and then shortlisted and booked. Like, I don't want to be behind the 8 ball. I don't want to be listened to 70th. And to that point, by the way, another thing that happens that people talk about is, oh, it's a numbers game. 50 people have read. I'm like, if we're reading on the agent side, guys, we're talking about 1,000 women. I'll take 50 on any day of the week. It's like, would you rather fight, 1 gorilla or 100 men or whatever it is? Like, I'd rather fight 50 other women on Voices.
I literally asked this question of Kelly Mashinsky
what is the question?
when she was on
remember.
The show. When Kelly Mashinsky was on the show, I said to her, like, how many auditions are you talking about
1,000,
on an average casting? And she's like, she said on average 600, but it could be more and it could be less. Right? And Marilyn Wisner, when I had her on, she said the same thing. And
Ask Tina Marasco, same thing. 100%.
It is funny but you're right. People are like, oh, 35 people have already submitted. It's not even worth it. Yeah.
This is the piece that some people don't realize that kind of opens their eyes as well. Okay. If 50 people have read, right? You see this audition, it's an online ad, the rate is good. 50 people have read, you think to yourself, I'm not really going to read. You're 100% job match. You're not 51st. You're probably 20th. Because the site automatically sorts by best match. So if you prioritize optimization and you give a good audition, you're going to get listened to faster because it's not just sorting it in the number it came in.
It sounds to me like what you're actually doing is putting yourself at a disadvantage by giving us all of the keys.
I know. You know what? As I've been working on this course,
if we're all I've already 100% voice match,
I've already questioned my life choices with making the course, or that, the SEO one as well, because I'm like, wait a minute, this is the thing that's given me a major advantage. But I don't know, there's something about me that I want to help people and I want to be honest, and I feel like there's things you can do, and I want to, help.
100% voice match across the board still doesn't mean you nail the audition. And that's the other side of it, right? You're still going to be able to deliver when you get in the booth.
I don't get shortlisted all the time, by the way. I don't want people to think like, wow, she's just killing it. Like, no, I constantly don't get shortlisted, and I'm like, well, if I got upset every time someone said no to me, I would have quit a long time ago.
She's secretly got an inside hook to voices.com.
No.
And obviously they're
obviously
backdoor
they're
delivering her all of the auditions on a silver platter.
Yeah, she's just their spokesperson. No, I swear to you, I get nothing for it. And I really, but what bothers me, I think what's really motivated me is it bothers me when people complain about things that they absolutely have control over. So a great example is when people post on Facebook and they're like, I just got another AI audition. And I'm like, well, do you have the data sets category on? Because if you do, you're asking for it. So why are you on Facebook trying to, rage bait everybody when you literally told the system you wanted it? Like, I get so mad. So part of me is like, you're complaining about things that you actually have control over, and you're feeding, newer voice actors or people who don't know, like, fairy tales that are not true. So I'm willing to live in reality, but there's some things where I'm like, you're doing it to yourself. Like, this is a you problem, which is a good thing, because if it's a you problem, you can solve it. If it's if it's a voices problem, if it's a voice 1, 2, 3 problem, you're the victim.
Totally.
But if it's a you problem, that actually gives you the power to do something better. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I get so fired up about it. I'm always yelling on this podcast.
I know. I gotta put a limiter on.
Turn down the volume.
But you know what? It's the exact same conversation that I had with Nikki, and and I'll tell you who I think probably more. It's probably guys like me, and when I mean that, I mean like people who've been in the industry as long as I've been in the industry. Yeah. So when I started doing the online casting platforms, so we're going back like pre 2010, right? I'm doing these casting platforms.
Yeah.
And they worked a certain way.
Yes.
And the way they worked was you signed up, You uploaded your full-length demo, you sat back, and you waited for the jobs.
That
And
was the
that
way it
was
was done.
literally the way it worked.
Yes.
And for anybody who did awesome
Mhm.
when that was happening, but did not keep up with the evolution,
Mhm.
now they're angry because they used to do awesome and the casting sites owe them
And now they're
something
doing
or
bad.
whatever, and now they're doing bad and it's the casting
It's
site's
their
fault
fault.
and whatever, but it's not. It's because the casting sites moved away from you. It's no different
Correct.
than a talent who was making a crap ton of money in a particular genre 5 years ago,
Mhm.
but now they're not making a crap ton of money in that genre anymore, and it's probably because the genre moved away from you and you didn't keep up
Correct.
with your read or with the what was booking or whatever.
Mhm.
And so those are the people that are complaining. It often is the people who have done really well in the past, but they're not anymore and they don't understand why. Well, the reason why is because Voice 123 of
Mhm.
2025 is not Voice 123 of 2010.
Correct.
Voices.com of 2025 is not Voices.com
Of
of
2010.
2010. And
No.
some of the stuff that we're continually seeing people complain about
Mhm.
is literally stuff that happened 15 years ago.
Exactly, and they're not letting it go. I mean, to me, it's like, you have to evolve with the times. It's
I
like
thought you were coming right through the screen
I
at
was
me
like,
that
I
time.
will leap through the screen about this because during COVID,
You have to
how many
watch this one
businesses
on
didn't
YouTube,
want to
by the way,
embrace
everyone. If you're listening to the audio version,
I'm
you
sorry.
really need to
I'm
flip
so
over and watch the
sorry.
YouTube
Put on
version.
is there like a noise regulation suppression? Okay. But during COVID, there were restaurants like in my town who just didn't want to do DoorDash and Uber Eats. They
Yep.
didn't because they don't want to give a cut. But
Yep.
I will tell you that a lot of them have closed down
They've gone
because
out
they
of
didn't want
business.
to. And now we've never really gone back. I do Instacart. I might as well be the poster child for Instacart, DoorDash, and Uber Eats because I use them literally every day. When the building maintenance people see me outside, they're like, "What are you getting today?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just wanted to order more stuff." But businesses who didn't evolve or had a hard time. They could,
Yep.
and you
Yep.
have to accept that the world changes or trends change or technology changes, and you just got to keep up with it. So I couldn't agree more. Like, people are mad about things from 15 years ago, and listen, there's things about 15 years ago I'm mad about too. But you can also change your mindset and roll with the changes as well.
And that's it. It's keeping up with the evolution of whatever. I mean, that's why we get new demos. That's
Of
why,
course.
right? Like this is just it's the way that the industry moves, and the ones who will succeed are the ones who continue to move with it.
Yeah. And I'm
So
kind of a new school talent though too, because you've been, doing this longer than I have, in terms of voiceover. I was doing radio for 10 years, podcasting for 10 years, Fiverr for 5 years. And so I didn't really come into the game of agents, managers, pay to plays until 2020. So
yeah.
it's only been 5 years for me. So I'm coming into it with a different perspective. Like, I don't have that,
Oh yeah, we just lost a bunch of people now
they're
because
like,
they're like,
get
oh,
her,
she's
you
one
know
of those
what?
friggin'
Get
COVID
her out of here
talents.
then.
She's
If
a
she's
COVID
only been
talent.
here for 5 years, but I will tell you that I think part of the reason that, I was fortunate enough to, ascend the ranks a bit was that being willing to do what other people weren't willing to do, not just listening to everything everybody said and formulating my own opinions and saying that everybody else's opinion of how I run my business earns me $0 a year. And
I like that.
that's my favorite.
That is a
And
good one.
I feel like, I've been very lucky. I mean, I think radio and podcasting and reporting gave me a really strong background. And I think Fiverr also played a really instrumental role too, but I'm coming in with a different perspective. And I feel like it's nice to have the fresh perspective too, because I do value what someone like you might say, or, Karin Gilfrey or Maria Pendolino, people, J. Michael, again, people who have been doing this for way longer than me in terms of the high level of voiceover. I value that, but I just come in with a different perspective. I didn't experience that, so I don't have that, bad
Yeah.
taste in my mouth.
Well, and that's a big part of it too. There's it's this is a game.
Yeah.
It like ultimately, the more that I get to understand these sites, and I'm educating myself because I've been off the casting platforms for a really long time, and I know that I don't know everything. I know that what my experiences were are, not necessarily relevant to what is going on the sites today, and that's one of the reasons why I bring you on, or I bring on the Voice 123 pros, or I bring on Nikki Schwartz, or whatever. I want to get your take, your perspective, and the more that I have these conversations, the more that I am convinced that these online casting platforms are just a game,
Yeah.
and the ones that are willing to play the game are the ones that are going to win.
Mhm.
If you are willing to sit down and upload 100 samples and label 100 samples
Mhm.
and do all the things that are necessary, like you're going to win, and you deserve to have an advantage if you're
Of
going to put
course,
in that much
listen, of
effort.
course. I
Yeah.
say instead of spending 20 minutes crafting a well-written, angry Facebook post, put up 3 to 5 clips on Voices and let's do something positive. But people are complaining. I'm like, you paid your $500. It's not going to change if you are typing about it somewhere. But if you did everything you could possibly do, like, my dogs are barking. They're so mad about it. Like
You're making a lot of people very uncomfortable right
I'm
now.
sorry. I feel like it's genuinely to be helpful because it's really not out of your control. But
Sometimes
it's
the truth
putting in the
hurts.
time and the effort, and some people don't want to do that. And that's fine. I understand. Or they don't know what to do. They don't know what to write. And the truth is, if you just think like a client, what would a client be searching for? Like, I shouldn't be labeling my clips commercial 1 or corporate narration demo, because like that's not going to help us here. We got to throw things in there that someone would actually be searching for. So it might be like, alpha male, professional female, angry political voice, whatever. But I think that if people would take the time to do that, and like I said, and then if you're still having problems, then let's have a conversation. No, I'll talk to you before then. That sounded very dismissive. I will talk to you. Just kidding. I'm not as tough as I'm coming across. My real Italian Sicilian side's coming out right now, but everyone knows I'm nice. I'll talk to you.
It's fun sitting here pushing the buttons.
I'm triggered.
Okay. You're here because you have the solution to the voices.com game.
I think so.
So tell us about the solution that you have created.
Well, this is because of you. So this is actually your fault. It's him. No, we had a meeting and I was saying that, I feel like I'm having the same conversation all the time, one-on-one with a lot of different people, and I'm solving, this problem for them. But is there a way for me to, maybe not spend as much time one-on-one and help more people? So I made a course called Optimize and Win on Voices. I also did my SEO course now. So that's available as well. And it's about an hour long, and it just goes through the steps of the actionable things you can do that'll help you put you in the best position to win. I'm not saying you're going to book jobs. I'm not like one of those people. I'm like a snake oil salesman. I'm not like,
At
if
the
you
end
do
of the day,
this,
what happens
kid,
in the booth is still entirely up to you, right?
Exactly. But I'm saying
yeah.
This is what puts you in the best position to do well, and then you can problem solve from there. Because let's say you do everything right. You're doing well. You're 100% across the board, but you're not getting shortlisted. That's probably again, we're back to being a you problem. Is it your sound quality? Is it your reads? Maybe you want to get into some coaching, have somebody like Brad or whoever, work through some stuff with you. Like, I just feel like there's a lot more you could be doing. And so that's why I ended up making the course.
So let's talk about, I want to be respectful of your time here, but we said before, let's say you've got 4 or 5 great demos.
Yeah.
And there's 5 or 6 clips on each one of those demos. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you got whatever, 25, 30, 35,
clips.
30 clips, right?
Yeah.
Realistically,
mm-hmm.
we watch your course, which you said is about an hour.
Yeah.
How long does it take us to do what we have to do?
A while. I mean, hours, right? I would say it's going to take a while because it's easy to put up the 3 to 5 demos and sit back, but like, is easy really getting us where we want to be? So, it's probably going to take a couple of hours to put up each clip. You need to write a title, a description. You need 3 accents, 10 styles, 5 rules, 30 times. I get that people aren't like, yay, let me do this. But what motivates me to always be talking about SEO and optimization is like, I feel like so much of voiceovers out of our control. I can't control whether or not I book the job. I can't control, what my agents send me. I can try. I can't control whether agents, bring me on in the first place. But this is something that I can affect. And so I'm like very obsessed with it because I feel like I did something that moved me forward and that had a positive impact immediately.
But realistically, we're talking about, you're going to spend $500 to go on the site for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So a year's worth of access to auditions.
Mm-hmm.
If it is not worth it for you to spend
10 hours,
4 hours, 10
okay,
hours
fine.
even,
Let's say
whatever,
5 to 10.
5 to 10 hours. Okay. So if it's not worth it for you to spend 5 to 10 hours
mm-hmm.
to put yourself in the best possible position to maximize
Yes.
return on investment for the year.
For the year. Can I get
For
5
your
to 10 hours for the year, or
$500.
is that too much? That's all
Yeah,
that's what I'm asking.
then what are you doing complaining on Facebook?
Correct.
I mean, and
If
that's fair.
Yes.
I think it's important that people understand that. I said I was miserable when I was uploading my clips to Voice 123. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. Why did I even coach with Brad Hyland? Why did I let him talk me into this? Or, I don't even want to be friends with Brad after this, right? Like, I'm sitting, but the whole entire time, but I'm doing it because this is what has to be done to play the game. And, you know, I haven't done the Voice 123 Pros course at this point, or I haven't talked to Nikki or whatever at this point. And so I know I can take it a step further, but I go through that process because I know this is what it takes to play the game on this site in 2025.
Correct.
What you are talking about right now is what it takes to play the game on voices.com in 2025. I have one more question I want to ask you.
Let's hear it.
Because I saw something interesting on your profile. Packages.
Yes.
That's something, I mean, I will say it's new because, you know, I haven't been on
It's fairly new. I mean, I'd say that maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3. It's rolled out kind of slowly, and packages kind of give the vibe. I mean, if I could just compare it to something, I'm sure, you know, but it's kind of got the vibe of Fiverr, where it's like you can
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be real. Like, it does give the vibe of, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I will voice this for this price. You know, I can set but again, it's putting the power in our hands.
You can set
you
the
want to
rate.
do you want to do a 1-minute corporate narration video for $250, you can say that on your profile. And I do get hired off my packages. I would say the two that I get hired for most are telephone and IVR and corporate narration, but I've done online ads too. And, you know, I'm streaming audio.
Want quick and easy.
And easy, and I didn't have to audition. Like, please, thank you. You know, and I had them up, and then I took them down because I was feeling the heat. I don't know. People were going off one day on social media, and 3 years ago, me was like, oh no, like, what if Facebook's mad at me? And I was like, actually, I'm sorry. Respectfully, I don't care. I'm putting them back. I'm going to just keep running my business. So, you know, like, they come in from time to time, and it's just a nice little bonus thing when I get a booking. I'm like, wow.
I don't understand why people would get upset about that, because I mean, you do the same thing on your website if you had the, you know, like
of course, like yes. So I like having them there. And
there's a lot of people that aren't happy unless they're upset.
We have to be mad about. Well, listen, here's how I feel about it.
World that we live in.
If you're mad about something, it's your way of kind of coping with the rejection of the industry and the difficulty. Like, if it's everybody else's fault, you know, it's like, it's your fault and it's your fault and it's because of this and that and the other thing why I'm not doing well. And I feel like, you know, it's just a bad place to put your energy when. And I'm just sitting over here like, do you know that there's like 10 different things you could do that would make it better? Or do you just want to be mad on social media? Like, if you want to be mad, I guess be mad. But I'm just trying to say, like, you could probably fix it tomorrow.
In your control that you can spend
like a lot of things.
Move the needle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to find the course, where do they have to go? What are they looking for?
It's on my website. It's on ginascarpa.com. And yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's out of my, I don't know why it's out of my comfort zone to make the course. Like, I really,
because it's such a controversial subject and you're worried
I'm stressed about, like, recording it, like, for posterity, even though this is being recorded right now. But I don't know, there's something about, like, this being live, like my coachings or workshops being live, like putting it up there and just being like, this is the course. But I felt like it'll be helpful. And if I can help more people and just give them a roadmap for what to do, I'll feel good about that. So I'm excited.
I do think that for a lot of people, it's time to give another look.
Whoa!
I do. That doesn't mean I'm going and signing up tomorrow, but that's not. But that's for other reasons. That's for other reasons.
Yeah.
But I do. I mean, it sounds like there are things that have changed. Mm-hmm. I think if you ask any voice actor who's being honest, there are things about Bidalgo that upset people, and we love Armin.
There's things about everything. There's things
about
people.
Armin.
Armin's great.
But
there's things about people's agents that upset them.
There are things about agents that upset us. There are things about Voice 123 that upset us, but we still look past that because the pros outweigh the cons. Some of the stuff that happened on voice.com happened a long time ago. Is there still some dirty tricks going on the platform today? Well, probably. Are there dirty tricks going on Voice 123 today? Probably. Mm-hmm. Are your agents pulling dirty tricks on you? Some of them probably.
Maybe.
right?
There was
But
just somebody on Facebook that said they got the same job from 2 different agents with 2 different rates. So
yeah,
again, if we're going to be mad, like let's be mad across the board. Let's not
be mad
turn
across
someone
the
into
board.
the devil here and be like it's all their fault, they're bad and everyone else is good. Someone just said it like maybe a week ago.
Are you sure you're not an ambassador?
I swear.
Are you wearing a voices.com t-shirt?
No, I'm wearing one that, you know what I'm wearing? It says everything will be okay.
Was that a reminder for yourself as you were
Yeah,
going through this
actually,
interview?
I thought it was going to be a reminder for everyone listening, but it's actually for me after this interview.
You
I'm
got an emotional
stressed.
support teddy bear there
I'm
somewhere?
stressed. Wait, yes?
Oh, see, perfect.
We have cinema roll here. So yes, I
This
do have
has
my
been
support rabbit.
a very enlightening conversation, and I think it was a conversation that needed to be had because there are a lot of old narratives. Now, I don't know if some of those old narratives are still true or not.
Correct. Me neither.
I genuinely don't. But you also don't find out if you're not willing to have the conversations. And
Correct.
so it's
It's like
important
AI.
to,
We have to be willing to at
yeah,
least talk about it.
you gotta have the conversations. Hey, look, nobody's telling you to go sign up for voices.com. You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, I'm not here to
But
tell you to do that. I'm saying
if
if you're on there
if
and you're
you've been
struggling.
if you well and but not only that, I think if you've been on the fence or if you've been
Yes.
nervous about signing up because you've heard some of these old narratives or you've seen some of the flack and the social media groups and you're nervous about whether or not it's going to push back, but now you're listening and thinking, gosh darn it, I would like to have access to 100 auditions and not have to stress about being punished by an algorithm and wondering whether or not I'm going to end up in the bottom 50% and never get myself back out. Like, I
Right.
mean, look, there's a case to be made for giving a site like voices.com another look. And I will continue to come back to, all things aside, the buyers on the platform are fully and wholly innocent in all of the sins of the platform itself.
Mm-hmm.
And they just want to find great voice actors.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And honestly, like you were saying just earlier, a lot of them just don't know a lot of the nuances of voiceover, like rates
Yep.
and things like that. I mean, I just did a session this week from something that I booked on Voices with 2 massive, massive brands doing a collab together. We got into the session and I said, okay, so how do you want to do this? You want me to do an ABC, whatever? They were like, I actually don't really know. Like they didn't know how to run a voiceover session. And they were super nice, but it was just
Yep.
not in their comfort zone. And they were like,
Yep.
if it's okay, we'd like you to take the lead. I'm like, okay, great. Other times I
That's
did a session today and it was like clockwork. That team that I worked with today was on top of it and they knew what they were doing. But you run the gamut of people on there. And I don't
that's
think
our job as a professional, to be able to deliver what the client needs and do it in a professional way, right?
I
So
like to think most people don't have nefarious intent, and I try to walk around not being too cynical and untrusting, but just kind of having my radar up. That's me though.
I think that's probably a fairly respectable place to operate from. Probably a lot less stressful place to operate from
I
as
don't know. I
well.
feel like I'm also stressed a lot too, so I don't know if it's totally working.
Well, that's because you get guys like me that bring you on the podcast.
Yeah,
and
this
ask
is
you all the hard
stressful. No,
questions
I'm
and
just
hang
kidding.
you
This is
out to dry
actually
with the
fun, and I
community.
enjoyed
And
yelling for an hour.
yes, it was enlightening. It really
Thank you.
was enlightening, and that's why I said that's why I want to have these conversations. So, Gina, thank you for being willing to put yourself out there. And if the podcast doesn't get canceled because I dedicated an entire episode to voices.com, then
Please don't cancel us.
we'll do another one later on down the road to talk about AI SEO, and that one will for sure get us canceled.
I'm coming back. You can't stop me.
Thank you, Gina, for coming on and for everything that you shared. And we'll put the course and all that information in the show notes so people can check it out.
Awesome. Thank you.